to show you?
Hell yeah.
Welcome, everyone, to the Horror Syndicate Discourse, and tonight we are going to cover a movie that is fresh out of the theater. Well, it's in the theater still, and if you haven't seen it, we are talking spoilers tonight. So you are warned, and you're warned again. But we're talking about Evil Dead Rise. It is, it says April 26th there, so yeah. We are talking about the film. We will spoil everything. So if you have not seen it, you need to leave. But if you're here and you've seen it, you need to hit the like button, please. It helps the algorithm. Share it with all your good friends on Facebook, And then if you'd like, maybe subscribe to the Horror Syndicate on the YouTubes. But I also I wish everybody, when I get them to join, today is an important day in the history of the history. Seth Aruni, how are you, my friend?
I am okay. How are you?
Oh, I'm gorgeous. Thank you. I'm good. Nathan Thomas Millionaire. That's your new name, right? Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm okay as well.
Hey, you kind of got a flannel looking kind of Scotty vibes going with your shirt.
I don't care about her.
Hit her, Ash. I watched it the other night. I'm like, damn, Scotty's an asshole. I forgot how much of an asshole he was. But I love him. You gotta love Scotty. And we've got our old friend, Klaatu Verada. That's beautiful, by the way. I love that. That's perfect. Jared, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, also.
Go ahead.
I'm doing well, also. I was disappointed I had to miss last week, but I am back again.
That is okay. I forgot what we talked about last week. Green Room, right?
Yeah.
Is that a Pool Party Massacre t-shirt?
Yes. Boobies.
Written and directed by our friend Drew Marvick. Mr. The Busiest Man on Earth. And I wanted to wish you guys a happy Alien Day. Everybody out there, happy Alien Day. It is LV426. So, of course, it's Alien Day, which we probably should have done the Alien show today. But you know what? Gotta be honest. I prefer Evil Dead as a series over Alien, even though Alien is one of the best horror films of all time, in my opinion. Sean Sheridan, very critical man. He loved this movie. His favorite Evil Dead movie, although I have not watched 2013 in a few years. You should fix that. Rewatch it.
Yes.
Hello. Hey, David. It's been a while since we've seen you in these parts. You're lucky we let you back. Just saying. Really sorry. Okay, it's cool. It's all good. Yes, the new Evil Dead movie was fantastic. Let's get some first reactions from you guys. I saw it first, I think, because I saw it at like 11 o'clock in the morning, all by myself. I had a theater to myself. They were bringing me food because I was the only one there. It was awesome. I loved it. The cool thing about it was there's some ambient noise in theaters, and I can hear stuff like people coughing or whatever. I had none of that, so I could actually hear the surround sound work perfectly. Because I kept hearing things out of the corner of it. I'm like, and I noticed last night I didn't hear any of that, but I heard it in the theater the first time. So, but yeah, I loved it. My favorite part, early part, and this isn't as exact, but the title card. It's a little bit different than this, but she rises out of the water. It's That's so fucking cool. That's got to be one of the all-time greatest title cards, in my opinion. But Jared, let's get your reaction. You're the one that saw it the fourth, I guess.
Yeah, the latest. Yeah, I watched a 10:15 showing on Sunday night, and it was actually almost a full house. I was totally shocked. It was weird. Never see that many people on a Sunday night at the movies, but
this was worth it.
It really was. Without going into too much detail, because we'll do that later. I mean, I was I had my expectations down to the ground, but I was completely surprised. Like those expectations were completely smothered with awesomeness.
Well, obviously, the suits saw something because this was supposed to be, what was it, Seth? An HBO Max release?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Initially, yeah.
Yeah, so, and it's already made $45 million worldwide, which is fucking awesome. Bring me more. Seth, give me your reactions.
Well, I think the person who saw it and said, fuck this, it needs to go theatrical, deserves at least a 50-cent raise.
Absolutely.
Because that was a smart move.
Yeah.
I loved seeing it in theaters. I saw it twice. It was much better the second time around. I saw it in a better theater on a bigger screen with better sound.
Yeah, me too.
So it really kicked ass the second time around. And it just like it was a movie that stuck with me after I and like it got me in the mood to like I've been literally watching nothing but Evil Dead shit for the last couple days doing it. Yep. So I think that's a testament to it.
Yeah, it had this like I remember getting out of the theater thinking, God, Evil Dead is back. You know, like I was so amped up that day. Like I couldn't think about anything but what I saw in that movie. And it's funny because Nate, you and I talked about it a little bit. Mike Lombardo, former co-host of the Horror Syndicate Lives, said that he couldn't remember anything he saw. And I'm sitting, that's the thing that stuck in my head while I was watching it. And then after the fact, I'm like, what did he forget? There's so much going on in this movie. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens. What did you take away from this when you first saw it?
Who you talking to now?
I'm talking to you, bro.
To me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I feel like, again, the theatrical thing, the sound design is so good in this movie.
Yes.
And like you said, the surround sound, like you can hear it. I mean, it's working really well. And like the Evil Dead series in general has always been about great sound. Sam Raimi used the fuck out of sound in the original films, and I'm glad to see that carrying over.
Oh, yeah.
Lee is obviously a diehard fan. Like he wanted to make this shit forever, and it's the love is all over the screen. And this movie is just one of those movies that's so entertaining that this is why we go to the movie theater. This is why we go to see it with other horror fans and people, because when you have those moments, it's like heavy metal when they're about to just start shredding or screaming. Like there's moments like that in these movies where they're like, all right, man, here comes the riff, and people are
the breakdown.
Yeah, here goes the breakdown, or war dance. Everybody's gonna mosh. Like that's how these movies are. And this movie, like it sends you out of the cinema, as all the Evil Dead movies. I don't know, maybe Ari Narcus didn't, but just blood-soaked carnage is what Evil Dead is to me. Like I'm not a huge gore blood guy, but when it comes to Evil Dead, I think those are the films that do it to the best, because they do it for an entertaining value. It's not when we want to gross you out. I mean, even though there's some gross out moments, oddly enough, it doesn't gross me out. It's just like, that's just fucking cool. That's just awesome.
Right, yeah. I was going to say, I don't think it's like weird, not a place, or, like some of the torture porn movies or whatever. Like the blood, it feels like it makes sense. It's either going to rain blood, or like in this one, the elevator fills it. It's so cool. And that's another thing. There are a lot of homages in this movie. A lot of callbacks as well, which as a fan of Evil Dead, I'm okay with some fan service. So go ahead, Seth.
Yeah, well, I mean, and speaking of like Lee Cronin being a fan, like there was quite a few moments in this that were totally like Sam Raimi type of of the way that the things played out, particularly the eeny meeny miny part, just the way that like she was in the dark, and like I don't know, there's something very Sam Raimi about it.
I love that scene. Her in that dark frame of the door. Which one wants to rot next?
Yeah, and I like that she landed on the little girl. There's a lot of connected tissue to all 5 of these movies, even with the directors. Alvarez did a great job, and there was some Sam Raimi moments within that film, and then this one as well. It's obviously they're both inspired by a great filmmaker like Sam Raimi. Jared, did you have any tidbits today, or are we just going full fucking out?
No, I did have a couple. I mean, they were just
wait.
some fun
Not
ones.
yet. We'll get to that in a second.
Gotta do it.
Because Seth, what is this movie even about?
Well, okay. So here's how I'll put it. So Evil Dead Rise, aka Not Demons 2, is about a groupie named Beth who finds out that she's going to be a host to a titty sucking parasite. So she goes to visit her sister, who's got her own shit going on, being this new mother of three, living in a crummy apartment building that she's about to be. But her parasite problem is important. So she goes and visits her, and on that night, an earthquake damage in the parking structure, which reveals a vault below, and Beth's sister Ellie, her oldest son Joe Dirt Jr. goes down into the hole, and that's where he finds the.
His hair was bad.
He finds the Naturum Demento and some vinyl records down there with Priest who translated it, and he plays it, and shit goes down from there.
Wackiness ensues.
That's it.
Thank you, Seth. There's some good laughs in there. I appreciate that. Not Demons 2. By the way, that movie's fucking awesome. Okay. So that was a great breakdown, Seth. I appreciate that. And Jared, do you have some tidbits you want to do before we getting into it?
Yeah, just some funny ones.
Okay, hold on. Last week I didn't get to see the Jared Fulci. All right.
I guess they're not too funny, but just some interesting ones. Somebody had you had flipped up one of the comments that Bruce Campbell was one of the voices on the vinyl.
Yeah,
that is correct. He was not one of the priests, though.
No,
he was one of the parishioners, basically, that said, "Destroy it. It's the Book of the Dead for the reason. For a reason." Like, yeah, he was on the vinyl. So I thought that was interesting that we actually got a cameo without really a cameo. I couldn't tell listening, when we were watching the movie. I couldn't tell it was him.
I noticed it was Bruce.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a fun fact on how much blood was used. 1,720 gallons of blood was used throughout the whole movie.
Holy shit.
I want to thank Seth for reminding me about this one, but the book obviously changed its name from the original Evil Deads to the Naturum Demento, but we are always, it's always the Necronomicon Ex Mortis to us.
Right.
Well,
it became the Necronomicon in part 2. It was the Naturum Demento in the first one.
Oh, okay.
Plus, they said that there were 3 volumes in it. I feel like 3 volumes, right?
Yeah.
So now each film that we've
seen.
That's
what they said in this one.
Yeah.
They're just throwing shit out now.
And it just makes it all work in the same canon. Like,
we got
there's going to be a nice big session about theory time because I've got a lot to say.
Yes. Same here. I've got questions.
Wait to talk to you fools about this.
Okay, so Lee Cronin actually shot this film in chronological order.
Oh, wow.
Instead of mixing it up like they usually do. Excuse me. The pizza place where the kids went right before the earthquake is called Henrietta's, and that's a reference to Henrietta Noby from part 2.
I noticed I noticed that the first time. On the second time, I noticed, how pizzas have like catchphrases at the bottom. The catchphrase was "Come get some." Awesome. Henrietta's Pizza. Come get some.
That's great.
And we did kind of mention the elevator full of blood. That was not the only homage to The Shining.
Okay.
Obviously, the drone sequence at the beginning was
Oh yeah.
A lot of horror movies lately have been doing those over-the-top scenes where cars are driving. Made famous. Yeah, exactly. But the one that stood out to me was later. when Ellie is left outside the apartment, Beth is holding the entrance door very similar as Jekyll Nicholson does when Shelley Duvall locked him up in the pantry.
Got a big surprise coming to you.
Yes. That's another thing I definitely want to talk about is the hallway scene. Because all these superhero movies and shows have these great hallway fights, and then we get something through the peephole in this one, which is awesome. Yeah. So, anything else, Jared?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's actually quite a few, but the last one that I was just going to mention, this is the first film that doesn't have the 1973 Oldsmobile in it.
I did read that the chainsaw is the same color as the car. That's how you got it in there, right? Is that right? The chainsaw is the same color of the
Was
car.
it a yellow chainsaw? I
yeah.
don't remember.
He did that on purpose.
It was.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I looked in the parking
I was really
garage to
looking
see
for
if
that
I
car,
saw it.
especially the second time.
Yep, me too. Yeah. All right, so the movie opens up with kind of like a cold open, if you will, and we're back at a cabin.
So cold. So cold.
Yeah, very cold. It was freezing. But I noticed one thing that I thought was kind of interesting was the shape of the cabin. It was a triangle again, and that took me back to Midsummer. Yeah. So like that is kind of a creepy shape for a building, you know.
Wasn't the witch's house like that in that Hansel and Gretel movie?
Yeah,
Somebody
mentioned that earlier. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It makes sense. It's creepy.
It works. Yeah, it's very creepy.
Yeah, but it's really cool looking, and and then it goes to that because that's one of the best things about this is that drone is going through the woods like, the evil in all the other movies.
Oh
which
yeah,
is really cool. But we get introduced to 3 characters. Now, somebody said that they thought that the beginning and the end, again, spoiler warning to anybody who's watching, I hope you've seen it, but the beginning and the end were pointless. I don't think so at all.
Well, I mean, they don't matter to the actual story that's happening, but
Right.
you can look at it as potential bait for what's going to happen in the future because now the evil is moving elsewhere, so it's kind of spreading.
It's out. Yeah,
It's on the loose, and the Necronomicon or whatever is still in that apartment building, I guess.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I love the opening of this. You get a call back to the original Evil Dead with the reading of the book without.
The cards, which is great. The Wuthering Heights book. I actually watched Wuthering Heights recently, and oddly enough, and that scene is early in the book and in the movie where a guy is staying in because it's a creepy scene because he's staying in Heathcliff's house as a boarding, and there's like a branch hitting the window, and he goes over to like stop it because it's distracting him, and a cold hand grabs his hand. It's Catherine's ghost, and she says, "Let me in, let me in."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's what she's reading in the scene is that sequence or that scene in the book, and it so echoes. And then there's a part where he looks and sees the face of the girl in the window in Wuthering Heights, and there's later in the movie. There's a part where Beth is there, and Elle's reflection shows up in the window. I think that's kind of a callback to the Wuthering Heights link. And these books, it even could be an homage to a Farewell to Arms, using classic literature in the Evil Dead movies, where he puts the Farewell to Arms on the hand to keep the hand down.
Yeah, so that's a really good scene, and then everything that happens out by the lake is awesome, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The decapitation, which is funny because he said that she almost took my head off of that thing. I also noticed that one thing, the one friend, I don't remember their names, but the one friend gets scalped by the possessed, which at the end of the movie, when she's FaceTiming her, you can see her putting the braid in, which I was like, oh, that's your doom, which I thought was kind of funny. So
that's how it's easier.
That's a nice touch, yeah. But yeah, let's.
I
go ahead, Nate.
also feel like that head was a practical head.
Yeah,
It didn't look CG, and it didn't look great actually.
exactly. Yeah,
But it's practical, and I was watching it this time because I've heard some people complaining about, especially the ending being like the Rat King or whatever we want to call that morphed together thing. A lot of that looked practical to me. It didn't look CG. I'm watching. I'm like, they did a lot of that practically because I heard people bitching about CG. I was like, I didn't see a lot of CG in the movie. That looked like it was in camera.
most of
They
the
got
movie,
the actors.
yeah,
They got the camera shots because I was watching because I heard that criticism. So when I watched it again yesterday, I was watching all of those scenes. I'm like, that's real. That's real people. That's actors' hands moving or stunt people's arms moving, and they've got those actors together, and they're covering them up. But I mean, there may be some enhancement, but they're there. That's not
definitely.
Yeah.
I was thinking that they kind of had that set up, but then they kind of CGI'd the faces onto it. But I would really like to delve into the special effects, special features of this.
I hope we get that. I hope we get behind the scenes of how they pulled that off, shooting that and all that, because that was cool.
I think the most like CG in that with that monster would be like the end of it, pretty much like when it's going into the wood chipper there. That kind of that's when it gets the most CG.
the Marauder is what that one is called, apparently. You let him bitch.
Yeah, most people aren't bitching. Most people are fucking loving this movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many negative comments about it.
Yeah.
Same here.
I'm looking at this to see if there was anything My Evil Dead 2013. I want a really good Evil Dead documentary covering all the movies, but I can't seem to find one.
Isn't there a Hell of the Deadites?
Yeah, but I think
was supposed to do like some artwork for that originally.
Isn't that just about the fans?
I think it's about the film too.
Okay, well it's on Shudder. I'll check that out.
Yeah, there is that doc. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I'm not done with Evil Dead yet. So Seth he's ready to move on to Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon. It's okay. I watched 2 last night. So anyway,
I'm not a cop tonight, Ray.
Not tonight. But yeah, so then we get that beautiful. What did you guys think of that title sequence?
That was awesome.
I legit got goosebumps.
Yeah, me too.
It's like the music was like.
She's just floating across the water.
It was so cool.
Yeah. Oh, here we go, David.
Great visuals.
Yeah. See, mainly Hail to the Deadites is mainly about the.
Fuck the fans.
Nobody cares about us. Well, it's like that Fredheads doc is about the fans, right? And I know you did some stuff for that. So
yeah, I'm in that one, and yeah, it's mostly about fans.
That Halloween one.
I mean, yeah.
You remember that?
That one was like, why am I in this? Okay.
If you like Halloween,
I do.
For the Love of the Boogeyman, I think is what it's called. Yeah. So I didn't pull up any of the things about it, but we get to the apartment building and we meet all of the main characters. After we meet Beth, who finds out that she's pregnant, and she turns out to be our hero in this one, if you will, hero. Because I don't know what else to call him. Ash is a hero. She's a hero. Mia, in my opinion, is a hero.
Heroine.
Well, she might have been on it. Oh, but this is a very likable cast, in my opinion. I liked every single person in this movie. Every single person is flawed in their own way, and I really liked how curious DJ Danny Tanner was, because he like without hesitating almost goes down into that open area after the earthquake. It's like, who the fuck would do that? And then He like the
I might just be curious enough to do that.
okay, I
But
can see
yeah,
you doing that for sure.
stupid,
the-
really.
The thing I got with that scene is I got Goonies vibes from that because they thought they were going to find stuff that was worth money to save their apartment. They said we're hurting for money. They even mentioned that before he goes down in there. So he's looking at something that they could sell and make money. It's maybe worth some shit that may like this. This is the One Eye Willie gets the ghost stuff or the rich stuff. We're gonna stay here in the Goonies.
Too bad he didn't put anything in his mouth and had. Oh my god!
I got Jonathan Brandis vibes from that actor, and even though I know he's transgender, but that's who I kept.
Jonathan Brandis was?
No, the actor playing Morgan Davies, I think is his name.
Yeah, but he did look like Jonathan Brandis.
Yeah, he reminded me of Jonathan Brandis. Sidekicks.
Watching it initially, I didn't know that he was trans. I just thought he was a really pretty boy, like he could be in a boy band or something.
Yeah, by the way, Sidekicks is awesome.
Yes, I love that movie. I think it's free on Vudu right now if you don't mind ads.
God, I love that movie. That's so much fun. Him and Chuck Norris just getting it done. Yes, Evil Dead's an awesome movie. But like the one of the cool things, of course, it's wrapped up as we've seen the Necronomicon or what is it called?
Naturum Daemonia.
Yeah, it's wrapped up, but this was cool because when he unwraps it, all these fucking bugs are covering it because you can see there's something moving under there. And initially I thought, is there another mouth on it? Is it moving, like the original book? But that was a good kind of jump scare, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, I like when the crucifix, the Jesus statue scares them.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty, that was a real jump scare.
That whole vault or whatever that was cool because you have all that religious stuff hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah,
the visuals inside that vault were really cool.
Yeah. Like, is this a bank vault still? Like, where are we at right now?
I mean, that's a good place to store all this evil, the bank vault, and nobody's going to get in there. And then they close down the bank, so they make it a high-rise hotel.
Damn, earthquakes. Yeah, they buried. Well, I don't know. Like, on the first floor. They were in the basement. They were in the parking garage, right? Yeah, the parking garage. That's right. They built a building on top of it to hide it, so no one would ever find it. Yeah, I mean it's cool shit.
Yeah, I have a question later about that I want to get into, but so you got some Henrietta's pizza, then of course one of them drops the pizza. God.
And then we got the truck. Set up the tree service truck that Mr. Fonda, which is probably an homage to Bridget Fonda playing Linda in Darkness.
That's right.
I think he named all of the characters after actors from the series, if I remember right. I think it was.
I did see that too.
Yeah. But as soon as I saw Fonda, I thought, oh, Bridget Fonda from Army of Darkness is probably. And the guy keeps setting up the weapons that we know. He says, "I'll go get my shotgun," and I got my tools downstairs, you know. And he's Mr. Fonda. They say, "Hey, Mr. Fonda."
Which is weird because, like, I got to be honest, and I wonder if you guys. I didn't think about it when I saw the truck, but I'm sitting here thinking, this is an Evil Dead movie. There's got to be a chainsaw somewhere, right? How are they going to get this in there in an apartment building? Nobody has chainsaws. Although in Scream 6, that one guy had a massive fucking ladder. So,
I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Come over here, man. We got you.
Oh, here we go. I was disappointed in this one. It's a perfectly capable movie from an effects and production standpoint, but why was it even made if they're just going to do so many of the exact same things as before? Even with Raimi and Campbell attached, was there nothing at all new to do or say? Yes, there was. There's plenty new in this movie. Sure, they did the same thing, possession and trying to get everybody possessed, but isn't that what a new evil would do?
Why does Michael Myers keep killing people? Why does Jason keep just killing teenagers? I mean, it's part of the whole,
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, in the other Evil Dead movies, it's all about joining us and spreading the army of Darkness, and that's what they start with. And this is the beginning. This could be the beginning of something big, Those are week 2. Another person who doesn't like anything. Cool. I like this movie. I'm sorry you didn't like it.
I did think.
Go ahead, Seth.
I thought the family element was kind of new and refreshing because we didn't, we never really got to see characters who were so directly related so close, because like friends or girlfriends, stuff like that. Sure, people care about, but like having actual children in there, and with the mother being the first Deadite, and then like just. I don't know. I feel like that was kind of like a fresh thing added to the series, because I don't think we've really gotten that before.
Yeah,
that perspective, at least, from a child's perspective. I mean,
well, they're all teenagers. Oh, yeah. Well, there's 2 teenagers, and then there's a young one, which I don't know, 8, 9 years old, maybe even younger. So that's completely new. And
I'd say
think
maybe
about
8.
Losing your mom, and then after an earthquake in the middle of a blackout.
They just lost their father. Their father just left them.
I mean, that's traumatic. Plus, of course, the setting is different. This is the first one set in that's not set in either medieval times or the woods. Yeah, but that's Ash versus Evil Dead. That's and that's Ash's family mostly, his daughter
yeah. But I mean, even I don't think it was done as such a like in that show. The tones were completely different between this and the show, but like the show didn't really kind of linger on that traumatic effect as much as this one, I felt like, did a little bit,
Yeah.
Well, I think
you can kind of see, because the kid actors were really good, and you could see it on their faces, and I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Nate?
I was saying, you go back to the Evil Dead. The first 2 movies are basically carbon copies of each other. So, like, it's kind of in the tradition that the Evil Dead movies have these greatest hits moments that carry on through. Like Lee Cronin's like, I can't not do an Evil Dead movie and not have a chainsaw moment in it. I can't do an Evil Dead movie and not have this moment in it. So, while that, as you said, the fan service thing. The through line story, the center story, is not one we have seen, as Seth just pointed out. It is about this family that is on dire straits. There's some really good moments about sticking together. I love the scene where she says, don't like, well, the 2 siblings are arguing, and Beth stands in there and says, don't ever turn on each other, ever. There's a lot of sincerity and a lot of, I really like that, and the whole thing of them having to turn to their aunt. Like you said, they're losing their mother. Their father abandoned them, so they already have these abandonment issues probably at this point.
Oh yeah.
And now mom has turned into this monster and is trying to kill us or to possess us or whatever. We've seen siblings in this franchise with Cheryl and Ash and. The siblings, David and yes, but
not teen,
not in this level where children are at risk.
I guess younger children. I mean, they're probably teens in the original Evil Dead, technically, but not like 15, 13.
No, they were in their 20s. Scotty was like mid-30s. Come on.
He looked like he was.
And we talk about the motivation. Like, a lot of people would crap on 2013s, and I was like, well, they were there to help her. Like, they were there to help her on with her drug addiction. And in the originals, they're just there to party down, and it's like they're there for a cause that means something. Here, Beth is there because she needs her sister. And when she finds out that her sister needed her and she wasn't there, her stepping in to take care of those kids. Like, one of my favorite parts is where she says, it's in me, don't let it take my babies. It's a really heartful, powerful moment, and like, so Beth
was
steps
the
up
only
to do
part
that.
where she. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was the only part where she actually was lucid while she was possessed, like the entire film.
And Beth does all she can to not let it take her baby.
Lily does look like she makes some badass scrambled eggs, though. But like, there's even to go a little bit further between that relationship with Beth and Lily in the bedroom when she's dead, laying on the bed, and she's like, "I can't believe I'll never get to talk to you again," you know. And she kind of that I really like that moment.
Yeah.
Beth,
she calls her on her cell phone. It's almost a night
moment. That was good. That was different. You know, there's
Yeah.
some different things about this one, and there's a little bit more heart to this one. I think, like in 2013, they're pretty much fed up with me as shit, you know, and which I get. And I would love to see Mia again. Dang, Lee was amazing, but like, you know, Ash and his girlfriend, and the for early part of the second movie is just Ash almost by himself dealing with the loss of Linda and getting to the brink of madness to where he ends up getting pushed over. You know, so they're all different. And then the first one's all about the gang, and Scotty's the leader that's telling Ash to beat his girlfriend. You know, they're all different, really, and just because the settings are similar. And then, of course, Army of Darkness. You know,
and then and then the second one, or the remake, or whatever you want to call it.
Not a remake.
It's not a remake, but
not anymore.
The fact that the brother is like, "I'm not going to abandon you again," and he goes back to help her, even though. Another carry through of all these people are crafty because Ash is able to like build the chainsaw hand, and then that one he builds the battery to try to bring her back to life, and then this one she uses her guitar technician stuff to create the battery so they can run the record when the power is out.
Right.
So there's all these, like you said, all these nods, these through lines of
tech savvy folks.
Yeah, tech savvy fucking heroes. Give me a soldering iron right now.
Right. I can make this work. I'm fucking MacGyver.
Fucking MacGyver. He can make a CD player out of his mom's dildo. Using some chicken wire and shit. It's all Silent Bob's.
So, yeah, I mean, we're getting into some of the stuff. There's a couple of scenes I'd like to discuss with the mom. First of all, the tattoo needle scene was pretty great. And I wanted one of the things, because Jared and I were talking via text the other day, that he had a problem with how Beth didn't get turned into.
I think I brought this up with Seth too.
Just whoring yourself out there.
What was
it?
How Beth? What?
Jared.
Well, I had a problem with it. So basically, we know what happened to the younger sister. I don't remember her name, her character's name. It didn't take her very long to turn, and all she got was a tattoo needle to the face. Beth got a mirror shard through the hand, cheese grated, drowned in an elevator of blood, and still didn't turn.
Yes.
Seriously.
Well, she didn't drown, but
no, they basically drowned.
Well, the thing is, if you
swallowed blood, you know they did.
Maybe, but I don't think it's Deadite blood. I think that's the problem. Whenever she gets a tattoo needle.
Oh, she puts the needle. She starts with the needle in her head, in her temple.
Her head, yeah. It's so she's drawn with her blood.
And whose blood is it in the elevator if it's not Deadite blood?
But that's what she did. Yeah, right before she cuts her daughter's cheek, she puts stuff in her own temple.
Yeah.
I think and Ellie.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and Ellie licks it as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There is just a little bit of continuity issue I have with that. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal because I love Beth as the main character and the heroine, but it's just cheese grates on my thigh.
Maybe she is possessed. We just don't see her turned yet, because Ash was able to turn it on and off. Yeah.
Up until
I mean, that's an issue though with like this entire series though, because I mean I've noticed that, especially rewatching them, is that they're a little loose with the rules of how that works. Because I mean, even in the first one, Ash gets some. I think he gets like scratched in a leg or something, and he doesn't get turned until technically the Force takes him at the end of 1, at the beginning of 2. And I mean, even in the show, it's like you can, if a Deadite pukes on you, pukes the blood or whatever on you, it turns you. But that happens in the show to Pablo, and he doesn't get turned. So
Fucking Pablo.
I don't know.
love that show.
I think it's what there being 3 volumes. I think it's different per volume how they get infected. So
because they all do have their different transitions of what happens to people, and
I was just going by how quickly the children changed. Like, you know, the middle child had her face wound, and you see all the pill things down there, but those are all like first aid kits because she was actually trying to take care of the wound while she was getting infected. But,
I just saw it as
it happened so fast, and
they were
nothing
directly
happened.
infected by the almost original host. That's where I looked at it as. You know, even the people in the hallway were infected by her.
I love her sitting up on the counter eating a glass, and I got to kill the creepy collies in my belly.
Yeah, that was a good Evil Dead moment.
It was very good.
And I love the sheet over her and floating in the
her
kitchen.
Dragon.
Great shot.
That is cool.
That was different, as we just mentioned. A lot of different stuff.
Yeah. I also like the setup with the scissors early on. You know, she cuts off the doll's head and tosses him under the table or whatever.
Stephanie. Yes.
Stephanie.
It's a weapon that we're introduced to early on. Like it says, callback. They wrestle and it gets broken. You're like, oh, someone's getting that.
Yes.
And then
it is.
And I thought I presented this to my wife and my daughter. Actually, I said, "Is it? You think it's on purpose that the feminist member of the group gets a phallic thing thrown through her throat, into her mouth? She's impaled through the mouth."
Yes. I didn't think about that. Yes,
I didn't either.
That's awesome.
What are they trying to say in this movie? That's funny. That's a good point, Nate.
Point. She got it.
Yeah. So can we discuss the hallway?
Yes.
Okay. So in Evil Dead, and Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, they trap Ash, Cheryl, and Mia all in the cellar. So they get her out and the mom Lily into the hallway, and that kind of plays like the cellar door, just like Evil. I thought that was so unique to this movie because she's, you know, in Cheryl is taunting and banging on the thing, and you know, same thing. Mia's saying all this shit to them through the cellar, and she's doing the same thing.
It's the same shtick.
Yeah, there's that part where didn't Henrietta start singing, or
was
it Cheryl and singing to her daughter,
Mhm.
and she sings that lullaby, and I said that lullaby's got to be something. I think it's Scottish. It's a fairy lullaby. And the lyrics, I found them online. It was gold-haired girls with curling tresses, hush-a-bye baby, babe not mine, and mothers who nurse with sad caresses, hush-a-bye baby, babe not mine. She's singing that to her. I was like, I love that, and I didn't even think about it. But it's Henrietta's scene where she's singing to her. It's a hush, little baby. Is that what it says? Is that what she sings to her in part 2?
Yeah,
hush, little baby. Don't say it. Yeah. I didn't even think about that connection, but yeah, he put that in there. But he didn't use that. He used an old Scottish fairy lullaby.
But it's a similar situation there, and it helps coax the Cassie to open up the door.
Yeah, the youngest one.
I like when the neighbors, the neighbors that we see come out. You get her biting the eyeball. Oh. Go ahead, Nate. You want to say something?
I just love that because it's a great director choice to have it static through that thing, and we're seeing all that, and then we see like she attacks the brother, then she turns and the shotgun blast blows her off screen, and you got all this action happening. You see a little boy fly across the room, slam into a wall.
Nobody is safe.
They were watching the not shitty nightmare movies.
That's right. None of them are shitty.
There are no shitty.
There's another Elm Street reference. Hell yeah.
None of them are shitty.
But I love that static of all this carnage going outside the door that they can only watch and they don't know what's happening. And then you get that jump scare because, like the guy jumping up with the eyeball, because it's like when he jumps up, like you're looking, everything went that way. It's a misdirection shot because she went that way, so the action's over here, and all of a sudden he jumps up from below, begging to be let in. It's a great little jump scare because you're expecting the action to come back this way, not from below to jump up at you.
That scene is so cool, and I like also that they keep the blood that's dripping down the peephole like in that same position the whole time. It's always there. It's just really kind of a cool reminder. And then, of course, we get the eyeball gag from Evil Dead 2, which is great. Chokes out that kid who likes all the Elm Street movies. I like that kid.
I did not like that scene.
And then, of course, she coerces Cassie into opening the door, and the next thing you know, you see a hand through the door just holding Cassie in midair. I thought that was fantastic.
That was effective.
Everything with the door was good.
Going back to what Jared said about this movie being shot in continuity or in order, you have to do it with these movies because there's so much continuity problems you could run into because because of all the blood they used, they would completely destroy a set. I mean, just covered in blood and all that. To not have to clean that up, it's like because of Cassie, I watched an interview. And the cast are like, "Well, we do one of those scenes like, well, this is the last day we'll be on this set because it's just bloody and fucked up."
Right.
And that's why they, you shoot in order because of all the nicks and the blood and the makeup and especially towards the end where they're all covered in blood and it's precise. You just try to keep all that in order. Definitely best to do it in order like that.
Yeah. You don't want to try to recreate that 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, I mean, like looking back at watching the Evil Dead, the original film, Scotty's haircut changes like 3 times. Like his hair legit changes.
There's no continuity in those movies.
I know, I understand. It's guerrilla style.
Very low budget.
But yeah, like
they're all college kids hanging out for the weekend.
Scotty's hair keeps changing. Reynolds told me that. I was like, oh yeah, I never noticed that. It's true, but yeah, I'm glad. I think it's cool that they filmed. I don't know if they did that if Alvarez did that with 2013 or not, but I don't. And also, I was going to say I don't know what it is.
They typically
I love seeing someone blood soaked with blood like on their face, and like Mia and Evil Dead 2013, and then I don't like the face to be clean after the blood. I like it just being like pasted with red blood because I think they look really cool that way. That's just my opinion. But so I'm bringing up things I've wanted to talk about. What do you guys got for this one that you've been?
Let's talk about that score. I know Seth probably has some things to say, but that score is phenomenal. It reminded me a lot of Hellraiser's score. And
yeah, I can see that.
Like the strings, the theme, the string theme, very much gave me Hellraiser vibes. And then there's also, and I noticed a little bit in 2013, and I think it's intentional, especially towards the end. There's this kind of that metal sound, that clanging that sounds like aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie kind of ends like aliens because there is a little bit of Ripley and Newt fighting the monster thing.
Oh yeah.
That whole ending kind of gave me aliens vibes, and the music is starting to sound alien-esque in that sequence. You get this thing crawling, big mother alien thing, and
it is, and it's the mother and with all her babies, basically.
Yeah, so it's very alien, and the little girl reminded me of Newt, and there's also there's a poltergeist nod when she wakes up. And she
was actually going to mention that too.
Where she's like, "Am I dead?" Or she's like wiping her face off after they
total Carol Ann moment.
Yeah,
agreed.
So this guy definitely grew up with this genre, loves it to death.
But he's in our age range, I believe, isn't he?
He's got to be. He's got to be at least over 40.
Am I alive?
Yeah, am I alive? I did watch his. Have you watched his other films? I watched Hole in the Ground, which is the one that got him the job because Sam Raimi saw that and saw that he was a good technician. That one's on Showtime, maybe. And then I watched a short that's on YouTube. I think you can watch called Ghost Train that he directed. It was pretty decent.
Seth just sent us to our Facebook chat. The new Exorcist movie will be called Believer, and it's the first of 3 Exorcist movies. And the trailer is freaky, apparently. But the best part is I clicked on the link, and the first comment from Jason Rutherford says these films are going to suck. Gotta love it.
Ruined Halloween. Now he's going to ruin Exorcist.
Yeah.
Well, I shared it to you guys because I was happy that they added a subtitle
Yes.
and they're not doing that stupid fucking trend of calling it The Exorcist.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Halloween. You know how I feel about that.
Yep.
So
The Thing.
the thing. Oh God. Okay. Yeah, the score was great. It was. I could see how you got Hellraiser vibes. And okay, Seth, what do you have? You've got to have something.
Well, that was pretty much it. Like it especially reminded me of the score for Hellraiser 2022. There was like when I was like hearing it in the theater, I'm like, this kind of sounds familiar to me, and like I'm like I have to look up who composed the movie. But yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah,
I think based off the way this was, I think I think Hulu fucked up, or Fox or whatever, because they could have released Hellraiser. I think Hellraiser would have done well in the theater and Prey, and I both of those I would have loved to see on the big screen. And I'm so glad that HBO is like, hey, we don't have any money. Let's just throw this out and see what happens. Or not HBO, Warner, because this was good.
I read an article recently where like about how like studios are kind of like second guessing the whole making movies directly for the streaming.
Good. It's stupid.
Yeah, we got screwed out of Prey, man. 'Cause still wish I've seen that in the theater.
And we're going to be talking about Prey sometime very soon.
I do have one little bit I was looking at about the little girl. They introduce, one good thing a screenwriter can do is introduce weaknesses or fears in their characters and then forcing them into that. The little girl is afraid to go in the water, right?
Yes.
She said, I got to see under. I can't.
Yes.
She basically gets drowned in that elevator in blood. Like it's like her worst nightmare. Like not only it's blood, but she's going under in that liquid, or that and then a lot of the horror happens in that bathtub. With the mother burning up, and they put her in there, and then she comes out there, and mommy's with the maggots now, which is just a great line.
Love that line.
Yeah.
There's a few great lines. That
a lot of good movies. Yeah, like the titty sucking parasites, or what was it? I had a beautiful dream, and I just want to cut you up in little pieces.
No, I want to cut you up and live inside you, or something like that. Yeah. I said that to my kids before they for all the movie. Oh man, yeah. There's a lot of great lines in this movie. This movie just fits so well into the mythos of Evil Dead. I love it. No, Seth, when I said, do you have anything, I mean anything you want to talk about from the movie, not just the score.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the things I really love that was a callback, but I just love the way it was done, is when all the dead people in the hallway open their eyes and they start chanting "Dead by Dawn."
So good.
First time seeing this in the theater, it brought a big smile to my face. And I feel like this one. So I like the 2013 movie just a hair more, right? I love this entire franchise, but I like that one just a hair more. But I think what this one does better than that film is, even though it does go back to the very first with being like a straight horror movie, it's like the original, it's like the 2013 did. This one does have some more fun elements to it.
It's funner. It's not as bleak.
Yeah, like the 2013 is very bleak. It's very dark. It's cool as fuck. But this one is much more in line with Sam Raimi than that one.
Yep.
But I feel like the Deadites in this one remind me of the Deadites in 2013. They had the yellow eyes and just
but their behavior is more like the original Raimi, because the ones in the 2013 movie don't have a lot of personality. They do all the gory, violent, cutting themselves up, cutting their arms off, which is cool, but they don't do anything like. Part of what I loved about Evil Dead was just Linda, like, we're gonna get you, and all that kind of all that weird, creepy shit. Like you talked about in the hallway, where they're all saying "Dead by Dawn." I love how that scene starts, where the two children come crying over mom, like, ah! They all start laughing together, and they're just laughing at them.
That was clutch. I like that part.
Yeah, that's classic Sam Raimi. That's what made the Deadites so cool, because just the odd behavior of the Deadites, all that way they talked, it was just crazy. And I got that.
And the things they say too, because I mean, there was a little bit of it in 2013, but especially in this one with the character of Ellie, the way that she sort of like taunts and the way she talks and the way she tries to manipulate. You know, I love that moment where she's talking to the little girl outside the door, and she's like, "Do it for mom and dad," and
we're together now.
Yeah. That's another thing I wanted to bring up is Alyssa Sutherland was awesome in this movie.
Well, her and the other one,
was it Lily
Sullivan.
They were, and they're both.
She reminded me. She gave me Juliette Lewis vibes. The girl playing Beth.
A little bit, but like what I mean is like Alyssa's a lot of fun as a Deadite.
Oh yeah, and she had the great face for it.
Yeah,
the grin,
especially the mouth,
eyes, the way her eyes.
Yeah, somebody asked if her mouth when it was open was that CGI. I think that was her legit mouth.
She's got a big grin. Yeah. I've seen pictures of
Yeah, she's got a big mouth.
She's got a big mouth.
Somebody should tell her what to do with it. That's from Dawn of the Dead. I don't want anybody to think I'm Messiah.
I liked both of her portrayals as the concerned mother and as the Deadite. Like she killed it on both fronts.
Oh yeah, she was just a lot of fun as a Deadite, though.
Yeah.
I got another note. I noticed the Three Stooges poster in the son's bedroom with the Shemp. You know, Sam's so big of a Three Stooges fan, and they always play, and everybody was fake Shemp this, fake Shemp that. So I said, oh, that's in there for a reason.
Yeah.
Again, those are the things that you see from when the filmmaker is definitely a fan. That's why, like, you brought up David Gordon Green and the Extras thing. People can say what they want about those Halloween films, but those films show so much love for the entire franchise and nods and respect towards where. If you look at all the other directors from the Halloween movies, a lot of them didn't even give a shit about the previous movies. They didn't care about the continuity.
They're making their movie.
They're making their movie.
That's evident in Revenge of Michael Myers.
Revenge and Curse. The guy, they said the director didn't want to be there. He didn't want to do it. There's all those things. But David Gordon Green, I mean, he's got the kid with the balloon costume walking around in the neighborhood. He's got all these little things that even the diehard fans aren't noticing. In all three films, he incorporated part 3, incorporated things from 4 and 5 and 6, and even Resurrection. I mean, he put them all in there. So it's cool. And when you watch this movie, you can see that Lee was living a dream. And he said this is his favorite screenplay he's ever written. He was dying to make this movie, and I think all the enthusiasm that we're showing and a lot of the fans are showing is on the screen. Man, he delevered.
My God, I couldn't even imagine how awesome it would be to like make an Evil Dead movie.
I know, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Helena's here, so she saw Evil Dead Rise last night. What did you think?
Is she possessed?
I think she is.
Yeah.
All right.
I have this one.
Do you like it? Or what'd you think?
Yeah.
Tell them what you thought.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay, she needs to go to the bathroom. Never mind.
1 second.
Wash your hands.
I will do that.
Okay. So anyway, what? Sorry about that. Okay, so Jared, is there anything else you want to point? I got some questions I want to do. Just a couple of fun questions.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of already covered it. My only beefs with it. I mean,
You got beef?
I really enjoyed the weird interaction with the family because, you know, there was obviously some stuff we didn't know about going into the film. It's like, okay, this is really awkward. We don't really know where this is going. The kids were really good actors. I was not a fan of the middle girl too much until she became a Deadite. That just could be her annoying
Activist
type mentality. Like, I have nothing wrong with that type of personality.
No,
it's just,
but she was serious. She was like
Yeah.
real serious about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have to go tomorrow, Mom. Okay.
You're not
You have to
going,
wash
Mom.
my shirt. Okay. Well, you know the laundry is. I cracked up because I've got a girl that age. Like, okay, you want that clothes washed? Go wash them.
You know how to do it.
I thought that family interaction was pretty genuine, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Kind of
yeah,
remind me
yeah.
of some things that we say to my kids too.
It's immediate too when she's the mom's preparing her tattoo gun or whatever it is, and it's just like the whole family interaction was right. Okay, you ready now? Tell them how you felt about the movie. Come on,
Okay.
look at the camera.
I feel so weird about this, okay?
Okay, just tell them. Just tell them if you liked it or not.
Just act like you're talking to your dad.
Yes. I don't know why I did this.
Okay. Come on.
Okay. Okay. So I thought the movie was good, and I have a lot of thoughts on the movie.
Go ahead. It's okay. You should have heard her in the car after the movie. She had all these theories and questions.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's how my daughter
If you
is.
can't do it,
I'm gonna
we'll do a horror syndicate teen edition. We'll have your daughter, Jared's kids, Seth's kids, my kids.
You mean kid edition?
No. Well, you're not a teen, but still. Anyway,
I'm supposed to.
you need to
Okay.
be able to do this because we need to move on.
Okay. So I had a lot of thoughts on the movie, and
Okay.
I thought it was very weird, but I liked it, and I thought it was cool. So I also thought about how like what if. Also, my dad had this opinion too. I kind of went off of what he said, like how if like Mia from the last 2013 one came with the what's her name again? Beth, yeah, and then like we're like in the one place, it would be weird though.
If they're in the same movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also if Ash was in that movie, that would also be kind of weird because why would they be in the one place at the same time?
Yeah.
And you had things like about the books and stuff.
The 3 books. Yeah. We're gonna get into that.
Okay.
But you like the movie, so a 9-year-old gives the movie how many stars out of 5?
Yeah. A 5?
Out of 5.
5.
5. There you go.
You get
Out of the
it.
mouth of babes.
I agree.
Thank you. Go ahead and go get your ice cream, okay? Oh, she took her bow.
We should get into that. We should get into that finale because it is such a great finale.
Let's talk about the finale. Yes.
Going into the elevator, to me, one of the themes in the movie is pregnancy, and there is a kind of birth kind of element to that, like a wound kind of thing of the former blood and the blood being like born. Like there's something
When it
there.
hits the ground, it explodes, and
Yeah.
the babies come out.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, there.
And then, there's the scene with the eggs as well. Her cooking the eggs. Is that on purpose? This girl.
Some of them are bloody. Some of them are.
Yeah, some of them are bloody. So
I like the egg holder.
there's a
they have.
symbolism. But that whole garage thing, that fight, is creepy and exciting. And when she gets separated from her, when the door comes down and the little girl's on her own.
Yeah, I thought they were safe. That was good.
Yeah,
Indiana
so
Jones moment almost.
it's like there's so many really great beats like that to that fight, and then we get not as exactly like the Mia fight, but we get similar where it's just chainsaw. She just rams it, trying to ram it into the wood chipper, and then we get that great impalement in the top of the head. It's
nothing will top the Mia scene for me. But
Betty Boo. My sister gets to call me that.
I like when she has the boomstick. She said, "Come get some," which is a callback. I love that. But I also like that she fell off, and it wasn't just this moment where she was going to take over. And I like the wood chipper. That was something a little bit different. It says that the only way to destroy them is by dismemberment. So there you go.
We get more raining blood as well.
Yes.
Always great.
And I like that one of my favorite shots in that part though is whenever the wood chipper moves over and you can see the blood just raining on the windshield.
On the window.
Yeah, I love that.
In the car.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, man. And plus I did like this the Marauder, as David told us, is what it was called. That was like so twisted. Like you see it kind of like they're getting on the elevator and you see them digging into the mother's skin and becoming one. It's so fucking weird, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Feels like something right out of The Thing. Very
Yeah,
much.
I can see that. Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I just thought it was super cool, and I like that scene where they're in the car and just like it's coming.
Yeah.
It's no longer mommy. It's it.
Yeah.
It was the end's really great, man. The whole movie's a great ride, in my opinion. And it's like I saw reviews saying it was nonstop, but there's a lot of good kind of like moments, like Beth in the bathroom finding out she's pregnant. You get to know the family a little bit and their dynamic, and there's a lot of good stuff here in this movie. And it's
good.
What?
You just need the cornstarch to thicken it up.
That comes at the end.
I know. That's the sauce.
Does he think he's muted?
Oh,
We didn't have white pepper. Oh, okay.
we don't need white pepper. We need black pepper.
Jared,
I was having gravy tonight.
are
What?
you guys making gravy?
We're actually making homemade beef and broccoli.
Ooh, I'm coming over.
She had me taste the sauce. It just needs cornstarch to mix up. But
I will be there in 5 hours.
I forgot to mute it. I put the camera.
Where's the recipe? It needs black pepper or whatever you said.
The ingredients asked for white pepper. I was like, I think black pepper will be fine.
White pepper, huh? All right.
Fancy pepper.
Is there anything else you guys want to say about the ending before I move on to my questions?
No.
I do just for nostalgia purposes. We had that fun part where she said, "Come get some," and gets knocked over. But when she's actually holding the chainsaw, she makes faces and actually looks like she could be related to Bruce Campbell. Like,
Oh,
I don't know. Like, it was weird. Like, throughout the entire movie, I could not see a resemblance at all. Maybe it's just her covered in blood and holding a chainsaw. I don't know. But no, it was like a certain face she made. I was like, oh, she could freaking be Bruce Campbell's daughter. Like,
turns out she's the Palpatine.
Hearing the cat reminds me of the whole setup of the cat being afraid of the earthquake and being up in the air vents to give a way in.
Cat.
Oh yeah, Lee Cronin said something funny about that. The cat did survive the movie,
Oh,
so
And a little bit of aliens.
she did not kill the cat.
all right. Let's do some questions.
Not a bad question, Bert.
Okay. The first question I have tonight is, would you like to see an Evil Dead movie that plays out the events of what happened in 1923 on the records? Think about it. I believe they're in a church, and you get a bunch of these holy men, priests, deadites. How fucking crazy would that be? These priests saying off the wall wild shit will swallow your soul, or two. What? I think that'd be a fun ass movie, and then you could have Bruce Campbell in it as Ash, the time traveler.
Then we get the guy from Dead Alive saying he kicks ass for the Lord, jumping in.
Yeah, throw that line in there. Yeah.
Yes.
We need to match up with those two movies.
I mean, we've seen a movie take place in the past before. Why not a 1923 movie? I think that would be amazing.
I could
Probably
see
an
it.
all-male movie, but whatever.
I mean, I could see them leaving that open for a prequel. I mean, if this movie makes enough money.
Just
think
There
it's
was There was 3 priests in the picture, I think.
yeah. Maybe
So I mean,
all
just
three had volume.
imagine them going to their congregation and like giving them this, and then if they say the words in front of their congregation, that could totally make for a very interesting period piece movie.
We'll call it Evil Dead Mass. I think that would be a cool movie. Steph, what do you think? Do you think that'd be a good idea for a movie?
Oh, absolutely. That was what I thought of in the theater is the potential they could do that type of stories, especially in holy men. You know,
I think was it Sam Raimi that said nothing's off the table at this point because he also texted Bruce Campbell and told him to lose some weight, lard ass. So after the screening of Evil Dead Rise.
yeah. Well, I think especially the way that Lee Cronin sort of brought 3 books
Yeah.
to the forefront there. I think it kind of lit a fire under Raimi's butt because I know Bruce Campbell has said recently
I've heard that too, David.
Sam and his brother Ivan are writing an Evil Dead Bible, and they're planning on doing movies every like 2 or 3 years. And with the 3 books, they're able to kind of do all their different ones. So it'd be interesting to see that. But it's crazy that this is a over 40-year franchise and there's only 5 movies, all good movies, but
Yeah,
can't wait to see more.
I'd mentioned that in the group that this is like one of the only franchises that in my opinion, doesn't have a weak movie.
No, not at all.
It's Ray's muted.
Yeah, I was going to say that leads to my second question, but we can see that, this does not have a weak entry into I got the scores I'll show everybody, but are they building a shared? Seth alluded to this with the Bible.
Well, I like that idea.
It's
what
possible. Oh, go ahead, Nate.
I was saying, you mentioned that the when in that 1923 record we hear a displaced Ash in time.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hear it could be Ash saying it's called the Book of the Dead for a reason. Don't do it. You could that's kind of. I definitely think they're working to make it all connected because they are. I mean, like I said, that's Ash's car that she's sitting on in 2013. I mean, it's not a remake.
I am writing an article about theories of Evil Dead and why 2013 is not a remake.
I could totally ask questions about that movie too. Oh my goodness.
I don't know how they would bring. I mean, they would have to do something because Ash vs. Evil Dead season 3 literally ends with Ash waking up in the future.
Ash. I mean, that could be just. There's so much that could be explained with that. They may not even be a part of their canon, But I got theories on that anyway. That Ash from Evil Dead 1 is different from Ash from Evil Dead 2, stuff like that. Okay. The next question I have it is about making the movies. Would you rather see Evil Dead Rise sequel or a standalone movie like Rise in 2013 or Ash-led sequel of Army of Darkness? There's 3 options there.
Yes.
The sequel to Evil Dead Rise because it kind of was set up. Go ahead.
I would want to see all of that, so they could do all of that.
Okay.
That would be great. But I personally, for me, I want to see a standalone, but I want it to be about Pablo and Kelly from the show. Now that they're without Ash, I think it would be kind of cool to follow them. And I do love that they're doing the more serious horror takes on them, but I wouldn't mind seeing an Evil Dead movie that does have a little bit more fun to it, like a little bit more of the camp style. So that's what I'd be more interested in.
Then you're making people have to watch the show, just like Marvel is doing and Star Wars is doing.
Well, they could do that. They could do a quick little recap like Evil Dead 2 does.
Yeah, that's true.
Or, even Army of Darkness did it too.
Okay.
Or all the Resident Evil movies, they always recap each other.
Yeah, for the most part. Do you guys have any, Nate or Jared?
I don't know what I want next. I just want another good movie. I don't want to stay consistent. And I like the idea of the 3 heroes coming together in a movie. Because I don't want them to introduce a 4th. That trio. There's 3 books. There's 3 characters. I think introduce another new character would be, see the color of her chainsaw's yellow. Isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It is yellow.
It says
And
Elise.
it says Elise on it.
Is one of the actresses named Elise in the movies?
I don't know.
I can't. Yeah. I would like to see these two because they've set up the whole trilogy or Trinity thing of the volumes. 3 is a good number. We get the triangle house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, I think if you go with even newer characters in the next one, it'll start to get crowded. I like the idea of these 3, just because. I mean, I'd love to see Ash come back in a film.
Get in shape, lard ass, right?
And and that's what's hinted at. And then
Suck the gut in, Bruce.
Jane was so fucking awesome.
Jane is, she's my favorite of these 3.
They can have a Jaws moment where they're comparing severed hands.
So, is this the scene you're talking about, Jared, where she looks like? Because I can see a little Bruce Campbell in there.
No, yeah, it's at the end. Like she has this look in her face. I can see it.
Yeah. All right. My second to last question. There are now 3 volumes of the Notorum Damonto or whatever, or Necronomicon. Is there one missing, or did Ash, Mia, and Beth encounter all 3?
Well, all 3 look different, so I imagine they're all 3 different ones.
Okay, where are they all?
I would say one's missing just because it's supposedly the same cabin in 2013, even though it looks different. But that was going to be my answer to your last question. I would hate to mess with it too much, kind of like Nate was saying. Like if you have too many characters, it does get a little convoluted. Like every movie has a different thing. But I want, once they actually announce in this movie that there's 3 different books, I would like to have 3 separate movies on each book. Yeah, it might be convoluted, but that's that's where we're messing with the timelines. We don't know which book is where. Obviously, this one had nothing to do with Bruce Campbell's Evil Dead because this was locked in a bank vault for 100 fucking years. So, I mean, there's obviously another book out there somewhere. So, I mean, there has to be another story.
What you're saying is you think the book from the first movie and the second movie, I guess, would be the same one Mia encounters. And then this one is some. By the way, we didn't even mention how cool I think the book looks. It looks really fucking cool. And I like that it's activated by blood. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I kind of, in my theory article I'm writing, say something along those lines where Evil Dead 1 and 2013 are in the same timeline or whatever, where Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness fucked everything up and they got pushed into another dimension or something. I got
obviously,
yeah. So I think Ash really fucked everything up when Evil Dead at the end of Evil Dead 2, and then of course in Army of Darkness. So,
the teeth are really cool.
Really cool. Yeah. I like all 3 of the books. Honestly, they're all really cool looking. Even though I think Evil Dead 2's book's slightly different than the first one. All right, last question. If you guys are ready for it, what is your favorite Evil Dead film?
Man,
I may be basic. Army of Darkness.
Wow. Okay.
I fucking love that movie since I was like 7 years old.
Got a basic bitch over here.
To me, the first hour of Evil Dead 2. Like, I don't love the second half. This movie's got the Full Metal Jacket thing going for me. Like, I love when Ash is by himself.
Yeah.
When the group shows up, I don't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
I do really enjoy the original just because of they were kids and they pulled off something really truly amazing in that movie that I'd never seen anything like it before.
I love the first movie over the second movie. I already know Seth's answer. Seth, what about you? What's your favorite?
Also a basic bitch. I'm going with part 2.
No, I love part 2. Part 2 is probably always been my favorite, but I don't love that second half. So
everybody seems to love part 2, anyways.
Yeah, part 2 is everybody's favorite. And I'll
they're basically the same movie, just the other one's funnier.
The first one's a straight horror movie, and people forget that. People like when 2013 came out, they're like, "Oh, yeah, there's no humor." And well, the first one didn't really have humor. Come on, get over it. My favorite is 2013, and I'll stand and die on that hill all day long. That movie is fucking a masterclass in horror, in my opinion. As you know, we've done the 5-star ratings on the Horror Syndicate's Facebook page, and we're getting literally thousands of ratings from thousands of people. And I've got the scores for each of the Evil Dead movies right here, and this is how they fall in order. This movie got an 86%.
Very good.
Yeah. Jared, turn that down or something, please.
Jesus,
Jason,
I'm sorry I'm so popular.
Jason's a Deadite, right?
Jeez Louise, I'm sorry I'm so popular.
You are. You're a social butterfly. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I think it was meant to be serious though.
After all, you're a woman and I'm a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think the humor comes in the Deadites' behavior and
yes,
Bruce,
the girl,
Bruce Campbell,
his girlfriend mostly.
And Bruce Campbell is there's so much camp within his performances, and just the ridiculous, over the topness of the end where he's just getting put through hell by Sam Raimi with all the blood and stuff is borderline hilarious.
Yeah,
especially knowing behind the scenes that Sam was like having a ball
torturing everybody.
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, when he puts all his actors through the ringer.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is Army of Darkness, which I forgot. This is as of 6:30 Central Time today because I forgot to do that one. The month. But that 91%. Evil Dead 2013 is at 94%, and it just squeaks by a couple percentage points for Evil Dead, which is 94. I put the wrong score up the other day. I said 95. It's actually 94.2. And then, of course, Evil Dead 2 is number 1 at 97%.
Which is very justifiable.
That's out of control.
There's something very magical about the stuff that happens in that first hour. It's just these amazing, creative, beautifully executed by KMB or early KMB and Sam and Bruce's performance, like the whole hand thing and the laughing, everybody laughing at him. It's just got these amazing choices that are just so.
I love
that first hour is like, to me, is the best of Evil Dead.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Bruce Campbell is amazing in that movie, and especially the beginning, even when the other people come. And I agree with you 100%. The first part of that movie with Bruce doing his thing.
It's not even that the bad. Yeah.
I agree with you.
It's not even that the second part's bad. It's that
I love Henrietta, first of all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to love with these movies. When I ranked these movies the other day after seeing Rise, I like the more serious movies more. Army of Darkness is my least favorite. Not that I don't like it. I love it. But then Evil Dead 2, then Rise. But I think I like Evil Dead 2 more now after rewatching it. So, yeah, this is a fucking strong series. Maybe the strongest horror franchise of all time. It's a bold claim. What do you guys think?
I can't think of another one that has 6 movies now, or is it 5?
Five
movies that were all pretty arguably good. Like, I can't think of another franchise.
I mean, we mentioned Scream has a really good track record as well, but I'd say
3 was kind of rough.
I still like it, but yeah, I do think Evil Dead probably is the strongest horror franchise of all time because Mike Reynolds was actually proving this to me last night. He's like, well, Elm Street's got weak movies. Look at Freddy's Dead. I was like, okay. He's like, Halloween's got a lot of weak movies. So I'm like, yeah. He's like,
not if you talk to the guy from Evil Dead Rise.
And
there's no shit.
That's true. And he said the same thing about Friday the 13th. He's like, look at Jason Goes to Hell. I was like, yeah, you're right. Phantasm might be close, but no. I like Phantasm a lot. So does Seth.
There's one.
I like the first three.
Yes, there's one.
You don't like the fourth one? The fourth one's good.
I don't.
No,
I don't
like
like
the
the
fourth
fourth one. I'm sorry.
If I can get a little bit of Reggie Bannister in my life every day, I'd be the happiest man on earth. Just saying. So, all right, let's do some final thoughts and get out of here.
I like the Subspecies franchise. There's not
I
a
do
bad
too.
movie in those.
Seth likes those too. Nate, you like any Full Moon franchise movies?
Not a big band fan. I just...
So we're not going to talk about Tourist Trap anytime soon.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think I could sit through that movie again, honestly. Let's do some final thoughts. Nate, what do you got for this one? Some final thoughts on Evil Dead Rise.
I just want this type of movie as often as I can, where I'm just you walk out of the theater energized. You're not like I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's what I want. I want to be entertained. When people say I want to go to movies and be entertained, this is an entertaining movie.
Mhm.
It delivers. Again, it's like we're talking about like listening to a great concert where it's just here comes the next hit, here comes the next, and boom, boom. When you have to get out to the theater to see this. Do not wait for this to be on your television. See this with an audience where they're responding to all the big, like so much of what Raimi's Evil Dead in general is about those gags and those big moments and those heroic moments and those over-the-top moments. And that's what the Evil Dead franchise delivers. And Lee Cronin is definitely the guy that needed to get that torch. I think he did a great movie. And he says he has more, and I kind of hope Sam throws him another one.
I'd like to see Alvarez come back too.
I love Alvarez, everything he's done.
Yeah.
I didn't love Don't Breathe too much, but
I didn't see that one. The first one was fine.
But I loved his Girl with the Dragon Tattoo movie.
He didn't direct that one, so.
Did you not do that one? Okay. I liked Don't Breathe, and I liked the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo sequel. So
I think he co-wrote it and he produced it, but he didn't direct part 2.
Okay.
We all like girls with dragon tattoos, Nate. Just saying. All right, Jared. What about you? Some final thoughts on Evil Dead Rise?
Kind of like beating a dead horse. I mean, it was very impressive. We all didn't really know what we were going into when we saw it. It had some amazing throwbacks and drawbacks to previous films. Like I said earlier, when we opened with the podcast, I saw it at 10:15 on a Sunday night. I had 2 girls 3 seats away from me on their fucking phones the entire time. I was about ready to murder somebody. But I was watching people get murdered on the screen, so I was like, okay, I can handle this. I can handle this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, these kids these days. Woo.
All right, old man.
I am. I'm totally okay with that. I am totally okay with that.
Nate, did you?
Because the people behind me were like, fuck those girls. Fuck what they were doing. They had their lights on.
Nate, did you do the art for this?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm going to get some of those.
He's trying to distract me, everybody. It's okay.
I'm trying to distract you from being such an old man. These damn kids these days. The folding seats that really crook your back, and the screen was right here. Yeah. No, I hate that too. That happened when I was watching The Witch. First of all, I saw that in the theater. Which movies like that are good to see on the big screen. And this is an event movie, in my opinion. And last night when we saw it, I'm so thankful that everybody was reacting and engaged and having a great time. And that's what you get when you go to a theater. You don't get that sitting at home fucking looking at your cell phone, So go see Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise in the damn theater, please. So we needed this to get to like 100 million so we can get more of these movies. They're fun. They're event movies. Seth, what do you got?
My final thoughts are Conda, Estrada, Montu, Segret, Scott, Nosferatos, Conda, Montos, Conda.
Something's happening.
I thought it was Montos. You pronounced it wrong. Oh shit.
Oh
We're all
boy.
fucked. We're all fucked.
Well, isn't it Colorado necktie or something?
Necktie.
Anyway, yeah. So next, I think it's safe to say we all pretty much loved Evil Dead Rise. It's a great entry into the series. Like I said, I feel like it's an event movie. We've got 3 badass chainsaw wielding protagonists in Ash and Mia, who I adore, by the way. I'm in love with her. Not Jane Levy, Mia. And then we get newbie Beth. We got some great characters. We got some great fucking moments. All the movies have a creep to them. We have one of the best title cards of all time. This is a little bit different off that, but there's so much about this movie. I probably will see it a 3rd time in the theater because I really enjoyed it that much. I cannot wait till it comes out on Blu-ray to add to my collection. Hey, yep, David is saying the exact same thing I was about to say.
I will add it to my collection as well.
I cannot wait, and I hope it's chock full of special features. And God damn it, it needs a fucking commentary. Please give me an audio commentary.
We need to know about the Marauder.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, next week we are doing a movie that Nate has been talking about forever, a movie called The Devil's Candy, which I believe is still on Tubi. So anybody who wants to check this movie out with us, I'm checking right now to make sure it's still on. It is on Tubi. So
stars Ethan Embry.
Ethan Embry, yeah. Or Mark from
Empire Records.
Now,
Mark
is
with
his
a
band
C.
with Mark with a C or Mark with a K?
Mark with a C. His band is with a K.
It's Mr. Was it Papa Giorgio?
Nick Papa Giorgio.
Nick Papa Giorgio.
I love Ethan Embry.
Oh, I gotta tell you, I was watching John Mulaney's new comedy special right before I came on, and he had me laughing. He was talking about Al Pacino, and he said he was doing Al Pacino, and he goes, Pa, as in Italian father or daddy, Italian daddy, and Chino as in khaki pants. So everyone thinks that Papa khaki pants is getting you high, or they call him Papa khaki pants.
Funny, yeah.
Or
Daddy, on
Daddy,
Netflix?
it's Netflix. Yeah.
Okay,
He's talking about his whole drug intervention that he went through.
Yeah.
He got fucked up on cocaine.
Okay, so next week, Devil's Candy. If you like that movie, check it out. Nate will be back with his usual autopsy of the scene, and Seth will do a sarcastic synopsis of the movie. Then the week after that, we will be doing. This is also Nathan's birthday. We'll be doing The Ninth Gate, and Nate's gone. So anybody out there, remember it's 4/26. Go watch an Alien movie, preferably Alien over Aliens, in my opinion. And subscribe to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube, please. Like this video, that helps us out a lot. I ask a lot of you people, I know I do, and you love it. You love the page. The Ninth Gate's great. Well, come back on May 10th and chat with us about the Ninth Gate.
Please come back.
Yes. Please come back. Please.
I watched that movie in the theater. That's how old I am.
I love that movie, man. Johnny Depp is good in it. Frank Langella. They're the search of the 3 Deltamonicos, I think is what they call them. Anyway.
The Books of the Devil.
Yes, the Books of the Devil. There you go. The Kingdom of the Ninth Gate or some shit. I can't remember. I'm going to watch it. I can't wait. Anyway, we'll be back on Sunday. Seth and I will be going on Sunday nights for our tour down the Elm Street movies because Seth is going to work the drive-in again. And I don't mean he's working at the drive-in. He's going to work the drive-in, showing some thigh, trying to make that money. So
come on in and watch my movie.
Yeah, come on
Yeah,
in and
pour
watch
myself
it.
out.
You should see if they could get Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise as a double feature at the theater, because those 2 movies feel like they're one's one and one's a sequel.
Tonally, yes, that would be a really good double feature.
Yeah. What if they omit the Bruce Campbell movies
I should,
altogether?
like,
and
every
do the
year-
3rd one? Go ahead, Seth.
I was gonna say, like every year, I like all season long, I'd be like, oh, you should play this and this. So yeah, I'll probably do that.
Well, sometimes they listen to you, it seems like. So, yeah.
Once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon. Well, I mean, Seth, the only reason that they wouldn't, listen to you is because
An asshole.
you're an asshole.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have a great night. Watch some horror movies. Watch Alien or Aliens tonight, or go see Evil Dead Rise this weekend. Let's get those numbers up so we can get another Evil Dead movie soon. I don't want it to take another decade. Interestingly enough, The Evil Dead was released in America in 1983. Evil Dead's Army of Darkness was released in 1993.
93.
Evil Dead 2013 obviously, and Evil Dead Rise 2023. Interesting. Evil Dead 2 is the odd man out, and it's Dead by Dawn.
1987.
1987. Everybody have a great night.
Such sights to show you.